Mid-October in our part of the world, a great time for mushroom picking, hunting with the geese next door, and garlic planting. We're gonna do garlic planting today. Come along. We finished with the potato harvest in this little patch of ground that we just tilled this spring. Garlic is actually a perennial, but we use it as an annual. We replant it every year, but we could leave it in the permaculture orchard. We leave it and it becomes a perennial that we can harvest at any time. But to get bigger, easier to harvest bulbs, we just put them in a bed. We're actually gonna dig a trench along the edge because we get quack grass. And I don't want quack grass invading in the garlic bed after next year, because we're gonna mark it out, plant the bulbs, and then cover it with some shredded leaves. Shredded leaves are free for the taking at this time of year, and they're perfect for garlic. No weed next year, just grow it until it's time to harvest. That's my kind of growing. Let's start with prep. My daughter Emily is here for the day, so get her to do some of this work. So grubbing out this last bit of what was left after we took out the potatoes, but this is really what you want to get out. You see, this is a root from quack grass. Every place in the world has a similar grass. It's a grass that's rhizomatous. It makes rhizomes, means underground roots that go and then they pop up and there's a new plant. And the thing with quack is if you use a tiller in this, because every place, if you chop a little piece, that will be a new quack next year. And if you chop it into 50 pieces, you're gonna be dealing with a lot of quack. So the simplest with quack we find is just let it grow a little bit and then pull the whole root up. So that way you end up, that's what it looks like. In French, it's called chien dent, or dog's tooth, because it actually looks a bit like a dog tooth, but that one was exposed. See how it's a little green at the tip? Because it was out of the ground and it's ready to produce a new plant. So the point is, get what's visible out. You're still gonna have some next year, and when they come up and they come through the leaf mulch, you can always dig them up in the spring. But with this round, we should be good enough that we won't even need to come back and weed this bed next year. So that's round one. Dig up the quack and level it out. Emily made the trench. So the trench, it's just to keep the new rhizomes, because there's quack over here and they're gonna try and grow. And if there's nothing here to prevent them, they're just gonna grow right into the bed. And so we had some potatoes in here that actually had quack growing right into the potato, and they'll grow right through a potato and keep growing. You say, well, that's quack grass. Scotch grass, there's all kinds of names for it, twitch grass. And so get out what you can. And big ladybug time as well, because they're harvesting the fields of soy and corn. So there's ladybugs. It's a beautiful day. Get to work. The stakes to mark, it's kind of by eye, but it gives us an idea. We can use the rake to make a line and then plant the garlic in a little furrow, or we'll use this jab planter, which means you don't have to bend down. We could get technical about have to plant this with the root. This is where the root will form at the end of the garlic bulb, not the pointy end. And so if we put it in with the jab planter, it can rest like that, it can rest like that, or it can rest like that. It probably won't rest like that because it really doesn't want to just sit there, so it'll fall on its side. They might not do as well if they're like this, but you know what? It's not the first time garlic is not absolutely vertical. So we'll try both ways. One, you don't have to bend down, and the other one, you do. So now to the jab planting of garlic bulbs. We'll try that one first because it's fast. It's called a jab planter because you actually jab it into the ground. We find it works easier if you open it first before putting the bulb in. Otherwise, sometimes they get caught, but they get caught sometimes anyway. Some of you say, oh my goodness, this soil is quite incredible. Well, it is. It's totally sandy soil. So it's a beautiful soil to grow vegetables as long as there's enough organic matter and fertility. And here's how it looks. The garlic tends to sit sometimes flat, sometimes, and then when it's buried like this, see if you go inside, it's actually in there, and that one was a little bit upside down. We're not going to correct them. They fall as they fall. What about this one? This one too went upside down. Huh. You know what? They'll find their way, and we can be more picky and actually place them, but that means getting on our hands and knees and doing some of that. So now the hand placing to get them really well positioned and sticking up, pointy end up. Overheating. It's so warm that the phone is overheating. This is where it's a difference between a young person doing it, where they bend down, and an older geezer doing it, where you don't want to bend down to put in 1,000 bulbs. Even some leftover potatoes that were missed. We even got a hand from Frank Tooten, who used to grow the vegetables here and has since retired.
Ta-da!
And
thanks to COVID.
He's volunteered to bring in a load of shredded leaves and leaves today. These shredded leaves, it's amazing for garlic. And garlic comes right through this in the spring, no problem at all. It's not whole leaves. Whole leaves, you can suffocate a bulb coming up if there's too thick. But when it's shredded like this, and it transports easier. What is the reduction, Frank? 5 to 1? 4?
Anyway, I mean, the range is anywhere from 2 and 4 to 1 all the way up to 24 to 1. 24 to 1, you're pretty much talking about leaf meal or leaf flour.
So around 5. Anyway, 5 to 1. You could take 5 bags of leaves you could pick up from your neighborhood, lay them down somewhere, even on the grass, and just go over them with the mower back and forth. and you end up with something that's incredible. Now you've brought in fertility, because this is lots of organic matter and great fertility, and your garlic will do well. It'll be clean, and you'll keep all the vampires away. Thanks for watching. Intrigued? Check out the virtual tour of the Permaculture Orchard. Have trees already? Pruningcourse.com. Subscribe, please. Check out some of the other videos or playlists. There's more to come. Stay tuned. Bye. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something in this garlic edition.
Bite. Uh-oh.